opportunity to speak today. I know someone will operate the computer up on the screen. Get a state. While we're waiting, I just wanted to mention to you, just as a reminder, Sweetwater Authority is a regional water supplier, provides water to 180,000 people to the older portion of the city of Chula Vista, all of National City and Bonita. And we are represented regionally at County Water Authority, and actually through Metropolitan Water District also, via our representatives, Mayor Morrison, for the city of National City, who sits also on Sweetwater Authority Board, and from South Bay Irrigation District, Bud Pocklington. Bud sits on the County Water Authority Board, and he also sits on Metropolitan Water Board, Metropolitan Water District of Southern California. Tonight I just want to give you a sense of some broader ideas, not quite as much detail. I did want to mention that the presentation by Mark Watton helps to give a better sense of the imported perspective, the regional perspective that is inclusive of our imported water supplies, as we are also members of the same regional supply system. But in addition to the regional supply system or the imported supply, I want to give you a sense of the local supply situation that Sweetwater Authority is working on and supply diversification, in particular seawater desalination and brackish groundwater desalination. And I find this slide particularly interesting because the star, as you notice, is at the south end of the state. We all know that, but it's also at the end of the pipe. And so doing work locally helps to add significant levels of reliability. This gives a sense, again, of the regional supplies. You see the outline on the right is the watershed of the Colorado River system. And as of the first of the year, January 1, 2008, we're at 50% of capacity. 12 years of drought so far. So the Colorado River system is very much under stress. And as Mark said, the watershed on the left, the Bay Delta watershed, is very much under stress and is at 45% of capacity. And you can see the bright lines that join to the south end of the state of California, where San Diego and Chula Vista are located. That's where our regional supplies come from. Get a sense of the local supply. This is the Sweetwater River system. The green highlights the watershed of the Sweetwater River. It goes from the Cleveland National Forest all the way down to the San Diego Bay. We have Loveland Reservoir right now. It has 53% capacity in the reservoir. Sweetwater, we have 26% capacity in the reservoir, and that's surface storage. We show the Richard Reynolds groundwater desal facility at 4 million gallons per day, and you can see that's 100% available. And the reason that's 100% available is groundwater supply. And it's not subject to surface water drought, just like 100% production from the National City well field. These are current supplies locally that provide significant levels of reliability. We're working on current diversification of water supplies. I didn't really want to get too much in detail in this chart, other than to show you that your water agency is continually projecting forward 18 months, looking at where their water supplies will come from. The purple on the bottom, frankly, is from the National City well supply. The yellow is our Reynolds groundwater desalination supply. The red is untreated water supply, the import. And the blue is surface storage operators agreement, which is pre-delivered imported water. Under local conditions, when we have additional rainfall, we can actually go 100% on local. You see the bright light blue. Unfortunately, we haven't seen that for a number of years locally. Right now, our water sources diversification on the left. You can see we have drought-resistant groundwater supplies, where 25% of our supply is from groundwater. Fresh groundwater wells in National City, and then the brackish groundwater facility at Reynolds Plant. But still, 75% of our supplies are imported during these conditions. Now, we are working by the year 2011 to reinforce our drought-proof supplies. Frankly, we're looking at expanding the groundwater desal plant National City wells will probably remain approximately the same. And Poseidon 10% is a water purchase agreement with the Carlsbad Poseidon facility. And that will give us a lower exposure to surface water supplies that are subject to interruptible supplies due to drought, either surface supply or to endangered species issues on the Delaware. This gives you an array of water supply diversification, if you will, under two different conditions. One's a drought condition and one's a wet year condition. If you look at the wet year condition, we can receive 85% of our water supply from our reservoirs, both Loveland Reservoir and Sweetwater Reservoir. Our 10% from the ocean desalination facility will continue during wet and dry periods. Our groundwater supply would be 5%, and that will give us 100% allocation during a wet year. But you can see during a dry year or drought, you can see the lake supply is zero. We've run out of surface water. But that's when our other supplies kick in, and with the expansion, we have an additional 10% from ocean desal, 35% from the brackish groundwater, and 10% from the wells, and our 45% exposure to the imported. Under seawater desalination, we're working with Poseidon on developing Carlsbad seawater desalination plant. Frankly, they're responsible to permit and build the facility. And we're on a water purchase agreement with guarantees that the price will not exceed the imported water supply costs from the county water authority. So we have supply and pricing guarantees. It's a public-private partnership. There are 9 public water agencies currently involved with this effort. It was recently approved by the Coastal Commission to provide us in our contract an additional 10% of drought-resistant supply. You may have already heard that, of course, that we've been sued under that, and we're continuing to push forward on it. We don't foresee it'll be a problem, but we do foresee that it will just postpone the actual construction and the production of new supply. We also work on this brackish groundwater facility. Just briefly, the Reynolds facility was put in service in 1999. The light blue outline is the approximate area. At that time, we thought the San Diego Formation is a formation of brackish groundwater or salty groundwater. Originally, it was not usable over the years, and with reverse osmosis, we can produce water. Over the years, we've been trying to understand that supply more through research with U.S. Geological Survey. We've been evaluating the San Diego Formation. These symbols, if you will, reflect complex monitoring wells and proposed wells that give us a better understanding of the formation. Through that understanding, we believe that there's a possibility that this formation will actually go out to the continental shelf, so it could be a rather large supply of water. Currently, we're treating at the Reynolds plant, that's in the middle part of the screen, at 4 million gallons per day. We're proposing to expand to 10 million gallons per day. We're on a pre-design right now, and we're supported by grant funding on our Proposition 50 grant. City of San Diego, we're partnering with the City of San Diego and with Otay Water District to look at other proposed plant locations that could produce water from this formation. One of the requirements of this brackish groundwater plant will be the need to put in a brine collection. Once the reverse osmosis treatment of this brackish water takes place, it creates a very salty brine that needs to be taken care of environmentally, in an environmentally sensitive way. And we find in many other areas they're looking at joining the concentrate brine or the salty brine to a current outfall, which is at the outfall at South Bay. The brine line is being studied right now. Feasibility studies are in place and they're being looked at right now for some of these proposed facilities. And then finally, I just wanted to summarize that water conservation will be a part of what we do all the time. And water use efficiency takes a lot of focused effort on the water use side, but we're also trying to work on the water supply side. And I have a handout here for each of you with some background information and a little bit of information on the current conditions in Sacramento too, so maybe help you